Elena Morrison's hand trembled as she reached across the white tablecloth, her wedding ring catching the chandelier light one last time before she pulled it off her finger. Across the restaurant, her husband Derek stood frozen, his arm wrapped around a woman who wasn't her, while their 6-year-old son sat beside Elena, watching his father's betrayal unfold in real time. This is the story of the night everything shattered. The night a forgotten birthday became the crack that broke open 15 years of lies. If you've ever felt invisible in your own marriage, subscribe now. Stay until the end, you'll want to see how this ends. And comment below what city you're watching from. I want to know how far this story travels. Now let me take you back to where it all began. 3 hours earlier, the Morrison home, Brooklyn Heights. Elena stood in the kitchen floor dusting her navy dress, her hands working the chocolate cake batter with mechanical precision. 47 layers this week. 47 times she'd called Derek. Not once had he answered. "Mama." Leo's small voice cut through her thoughts. "Is Daddy coming home for my party?" She turned. Her youngest stood in the doorway, his Batman cape dragging on the hardwood, his brown eyes, Derek's eyes, searching hers for hope she didn't have. "He's trying, sweetheart." The lie tasted bitter. "He's got that big meeting, remember? He always has meetings." Sophie appeared behind her brother, 9 years old, going on 30, her arms crossed. "He missed my recital last month, and Leo's soccer game, and—" "Sophie." Elena's voice came out sharper than intended. "Not today." Her daughter's jaw tightened, another inherited trait. "You always defend him." "I'm not defending anyone. I'm trying to give your brother a good birthday." "By pretending Dad cares." The words hung between them like gun smoke. Elena's hands stilled on the bowl. When had Sophie learned to wound with such precision? "He cares," Elena whispered. "He's just busy." "Sure, Mama." Sophie grabbed Leo's hand. "Come on, Leo. Let's wrap your present upstairs." Elena watched them disappear, then sagged against the counter. The cake batter blurred through sudden tears. 15 years. 15 years of, "He's just busy." 15 years of making excuses. Her phone buzzed. Finally. Derek. Running late. Don't wait dinner. Not happy birthday, son. Not I'll be there soon. Just that. Elena's thumb hovered over the keyboard. She typed, "It's Leo's birthday." Deleted it. Typed, "He's been asking for you all day." Deleted it. Finally sent, "Okay." Because that's what she always did. Swallowed the disappointment. Smoothed over the cracks. Kept the perfect family illusion intact. She glanced at the calendar on the fridge. Leo's birthday circled in red marker, his 6-year-old handwriting spelling out, "Daddy's home," with backwards letters. Her chest tightened. "Not this time," she murmured. "Not tonight." An idea sparked, reckless, desperate, completely unlike her. The nice restaurant by the waterfront. The one Derek always promised to take her to. Lorene. She'd saved money. Secret money hidden in envelopes tucked inside her childhood copy of Little Women. Tips from tutoring summer school kids. $20 here, $50 there. For emergencies, for escape. This counted. She pulled out her phone and made a reservation before she could change her mind. Table for 2, her and Leo. 7 o'clock. Window seat. "Let Derek miss this," she whispered. "Let him realize what he threw away." Lorene Restaurant, 6:47 p.m. The hostess's smile faltered when Elena walked in with Leo, his clip-on bow tie crooked, his hair refusing to lay flat despite 3 attempts with water and prayer. "Reservation for Morrison. 2. "Of course." The woman's eyes swept over Elena's thrift store dress, the one she'd ironed until the seams shone. "Right this way." Leo's hand gripped hers tighter as they wove through tables where men in tailored suits discussed stock portfolios and women in pearls, laughed behind wine glasses. This wasn't their world. Elena had known that walking in. But Leo deserved to feel special. Just once. "Mama, look." Leo pressed his face against the window as they reached their table. "You can see the whole bridge from here." "Make a wish when we light your candles," Elena said, settling into her chair. "A big one." "I'm gonna wish for Daddy to come home." His innocence shattered her. "Think it'll work?" Before Elena could answer, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Is this Elena Morrison?" Her stomach dropped. Unknown numbers never brought good news. "Elena." "Yes." "Who is this?" 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Unknown number. "You don't know me, but I think you need to know about your husband." Elena's world tilted. She glanced at Leo, now studying the menu with fierce concentration, trying to sound out words too big for first grade. "Elena." "What about him, unknown number?" "He's been seeing someone. For months." The restaurant noise faded to white static. Elena's fingers went numb around the phone. "Elena." "Who is this unknown number?" "Someone who thought she was dating a divorced man. Until I saw the family photos on his Facebook. Your wedding. Your kids." Elena couldn't breathe. The chandelier spun overhead. Unknown number. "I'm sorry, I didn't know. But you deserve to know he's at Lorene tonight. With me. Or he was supposed to be. I just canceled." Elena. "You're lying." Unknown number, table 12. "He made reservations under Morrison Party of 2. Check with the hostess if you don't believe me." Elena's hands shook so hard she nearly dropped the phone. This wasn't real. Couldn't be real. Derek was at a meeting. He was... "Mama!" Leo's voice broke through. "You okay? You look sick." "I'm fine, baby." The lie burned her throat. "Stay right here. I need to talk to the lady at the front. Can you be a big boy and wait?" "I'm always a big boy." "Yes, you are." She kissed his forehead, breathing in his shampoo smell, strawberry and innocence, then stood on legs that felt like water. The hostess looked up as Elena approached, professional smile locked in place. "Excuse me." Elena's voice came out steady despite the earthquake inside her. "Do you have a reservation tonight under Morrison Party of 2? The woman's fingers flew over her tablet. "Oh yes, Mr. Morrison, 7:15. Actually, he just arrived. Shall I? Where? I'm sorry. Where is he sitting?" The hostess frowned. "Ma'am, I can't just..." "I'm his wife." Elena's voice cracked on the last word. "Please." Something shifted in the woman's expression. Recognition, pity, understanding. She'd seen this story before. "Table 12, she said softly. "By the far window." Elena turned. Her eyes scanned the restaurant couples laughing, families celebrating, waiters gliding between tables with practiced grace. Then she saw him. Derek Morrison. 6'2" of tailored confidence, his salt and pepper hair perfectly styled, his Rolex catching the light as he raised a wine glass to his lips. And beside him, the woman was young. 29, maybe 30. Dark hair cascading over bare shoulders. A red dress that cost more than Elena's monthly grocery budget. Lips painted the color of arterial blood. Derek leaned close, whispering something that made her laugh, the low, intimate laugh of someone who'd heard many whispered things before. His hand rested on her thigh beneath the table. The floor dropped out from under Elena's world. She didn't remember walking back to Leo. Didn't remember sitting down. Didn't remember breathing. "Mama!" Leo tugged her sleeve. "Did the lady say our food's coming?" Elena opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Because across the restaurant, Derek Morrison lifted his head, and his eyes locked with hers. For one frozen moment, husband and wife stared at each other across 50 feet of expensive carpet and shattered vows. His face went white. The wine glass slipped from his fingers, red liquid spreading across the white tablecloth like blood from a mortal wound. The woman beside him turned to see what had stolen his attention, and Leo, sweet 6-year-old Leo, followed Elena's gaze and saw his father. "Daddy." His voice rang out pure and joyful and destroying. "Daddy's here. He came." Leo scrambled out of his chair before Elena could stop him, his small legs pumping as he ran between tables, cape flying behind him like hope itself. "Daddy, you made it, you—" He stopped 3 feet from Derek's table. His smile faltered. His eyes moved from his father to the woman in red, to the hand Derek jerked away from her thigh too late. "Daddy." Smaller now. Confused. "Who's that?" Elena was moving before she realized it, her body propelled by something primal, the instinct to shield her child from the truth, even as it swallowed them both whole. "Leo, come here." She reached for him, but he stepped back. "Is this your business meeting?" Leo's voice cracked. "With the pretty lady?" Derek stood his chair, scraping loud against the floor. Every conversation near them died. Heads turned. The restaurant held its breath. "Leo, buddy." Derek's voice, the one that used to read bedtime stories, now sounded like a stranger's. "This isn't... You're not supposed to... You said you were working." Leo's eyes filled with tears. "You said you couldn't come to my birthday." "I can explain." "You promised." The word exploded out of Leo, 6 years of broken promises detonating at once. "You promised you'd be there. You promised." Elena pulled Leo against her, his small body shaking with sobs that tore through the restaurant's elegant silence like screams. The woman in red stood slowly, uncertainty flickering across her beautiful face. "Derek, you said you didn't have kids." "Vanessa." Derek reached for her arm. She jerked away. "You said you were divorced. You said—" Her eyes found Elena's. "Oh, God. She's your wife, isn't she? It's complicated." "Liar!" The word ripped from Elena's throat, 15 years of swallowed silence erupting in one terrible moment. "You liar!" The restaurant froze. 50 pairs of eyes locked on their corner. Phones materialized, recording angles shifting to catch the drama. Derek's face flushed red. "Elena, not here. Not in front of... In front of who?" Elena's voice shook. "Your son. The one whose birthday you forgot. Or your girlfriend, the one you told you were divorced." Vanessa's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh my God. I didn't know. I swear I didn't." "Of course you didn't." Elena's laugh tasted like acid. "He's good at lying. 15 years of practice." "Elena, for God's sake." Derek moved toward her. "Don't." She stepped back, pulling Leo closer. "Don't you dare touch us." "Mama." Leo's voice muffled against her stomach. "Why is Daddy with her? Why did he lie?" The question hung in the air like a guillotine blade. Derek opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" Elena's voice dropped to something quiet and deadly. "Explain it to your son. Go ahead. Tell him why you forgot his birthday to have dinner with your mistress." The word landed like a slap. Vanessa flinched. Derek's jaw tightened. "You're making a scene," he hissed. "I'm making a scene." Elena's voice rose. "You brought your mistress to a restaurant on our son's birthday, and I'm making a scene." A man at a nearby table muttered, "Jesus Christ." A woman whispered to her companion, "Should we call someone?" Elena didn't care. Didn't care about the phone's recording. Didn't care about the judging eyes. Didn't care about anything except the little boy crying against her and the man who'd destroyed them both. "How long?" she asked. "How long have you been lying to us?" Derek's silence was its own confession. "How long?" Elena screamed. 8 months. Vanessa's voice small and broken. "We've been together 8 months." The number hit like a bullet. 8 months. While Elena packed school lunches and attended parent-teacher conferences and made excuses for Derek's absences. 8 months of kisses that tasted like lies. "I'm sorry," Vanessa whispered, tears streaming down her perfect face. "I didn't know. He showed me divorce papers. He said..." "He lied." Elena's voice had gone flat, empty. "That's what he does." Derek's eyes darted around the restaurant, calculating damage control exit strategies, always working an angle. "Elena, we'll discuss this at home, not here." "Home." Elena laughed, the sound brittle and strange. "You mean the home where you sleep beside me at night and text her in the bathroom? That home." His face paled, busted. "Mama, I want to go." Leo pulled at her hand. "Please, I want to go home." Elena looked down at her son. His bow tie crooked his Batman cape dusty, his eyes red and confused, and breaking her heart with every breath. Then she looked at Derek. Really looked at him. Saw him for what he was. Not the man she'd married, not the father she'd wanted for her children, but a coward in expensive clothes who'd gambled everything on selfish pleasure and lost. "You know what?" Elena's voice steadied. "You're right, Leo. Let's go home." She turned to leave. Derek grabbed her wrist. "Elena, wait." She looked at his hand on her arm, then at his face. And something in her expression made him let go like she'd burned him. "Don't," she said quietly. "Don't ever touch me again." She lifted Leo into her arms, too big for carrying but needing it anyway, and walked through the silent restaurant with her head high and her heart in pieces. Behind her, Derek called out, "Elena, please!" She didn't turn around, but she heard Vanessa's voice, cold and final. "Don't. Don't ever call me again either." The Morrison home. 10:47 p.m. Elena sat on Leo's bedroom floor, her back against his race car bed, watching him sleep. He'd cried himself out in the car, cried through Sophie's horrified questions, cried until he'd fallen asleep mid-sentence, his small body exhausted from grief he was too young to carry. Sophie sat beside her mother, silent, her hand resting on Elena's shoulder. "Mama," she whispered. "What are we gonna do?" Elena stared at the ceiling, at the glow-in-the-dark stars Derek had put up 6 years ago, when things were different, when she still believed in promises. "I don't know, baby." The truth felt like relief. "I don't know." Her phone buzzed. Derek. She didn't look. It buzzed again. 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 "He's not coming back, is he?" Sophie's voice cracked. Elena pulled her daughter close, breathing in her shampoo, her warmth, her trust. "Maybe not." "Good," Sophie whispered fiercely. "We don't need him." But they did. The mortgage, the car payments, the medical bills. Everything in Derek's name, under Derek's control, dependent on Derek's mercy. Elena's chest tightened with panic. How would she survive this? How would she? Her phone lit up. Not Derek this time. Unknown. Number. "This is Vanessa. I know you have no reason to trust me, but I kept copies. Every text, every receipt, every lie. If you need them for lawyers for proof, they're yours." Elena stared at the message until her eyes blurred. A second text appeared. "I'm sorry. For all of it. You and your kids deserved better." Elena's fingers trembled as she typed, "Thank you." 3 dots appeared. "Make him pay." Elena set the phone down, pulled Sophie closer, listened to Leo's breathing. Outside car doors slammed. Derek's voice, slurred with anger or alcohol, shouted something unintelligible. Keys jangled. The front door rattled. "Elena! Elena! Open this damn door!" Sophie tensed. "Mama." "It's okay." Elena stood, her legs steady despite everything. "Stay with Leo. Lock this door. Don't come out until I say." "But..." "Sophie." Elena cupped her daughter's face. "Trust me. I've got this." She walked downstairs, her bare feet silent on carpet Derek had chosen in a house Derek had bought, wearing a ring Derek had given her 15 years and a lifetime ago. He was still pounding when she opened the door. Derek stumbled inside, whiskey on his breath, fury in his eyes. "You humiliated me. In front of everyone. In front of your mistress." Elena's voice came out cold, controlled. "Say her name, Derek. Vanessa. The woman you've been sleeping with for 8 months while I raised your children." It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? She stepped closer, invading his space. "Explain it to me. Make it make sense." He opened his mouth, closed it. His shoulders sagged. "I don't know." "You don't know." Elena laughed hollow. "You threw away 15 years, you broke your son's heart, you destroyed our family, and you don't know." "I'm sorry." "You're sorry you got caught." She turned away. "Get out. This is my house. Get out." The scream tore from somewhere deep and ancient. "Get out before I call the police and tell them you're drunk and threatening me." Derek's face went white. "Elena. Out. Now." For a moment, they stood frozen husband and wife strangers in the ruins of their life. Then Derek turned and walked out. The door closed behind him with a soft click that sounded like the end of everything. Elena locked it. Deadbolt. Chain. Then she slid down the door to the floor, wrapped her arms around her knees, and finally let herself break. Elena woke to sunlight burning through the bedroom curtains and the smell of something burning downstairs. She jerked upright, heart hammering yesterday's nightmare flooding back in brutal waves. The restaurant. Derek's face. Leo's tears. Vanessa's red dress. She stumbled to the kitchen where smoke billowed from the toaster. Sophie stood frozen, staring at blackened bread like it held answers she desperately needed. "I was trying to make breakfast," Sophie whispered. "Like you always do. But I can't. I don't." Her voice cracked. "I can't do anything right." Elena pulled her daughter close, inhaling the smoke and Sophie's strawberry shampoo and the sharp scent of a childhood ending too soon. "You're doing everything right, baby. Everything." "Then why does it hurt so much?" Elena had no answer. She just held tighter. Leo appeared in the doorway, his Batman cape dragging his eyes puffy and red. "Is Daddy coming back?" The question gutted her. "I don't know, sweetheart." "Did I do something wrong? Is that why he left?" "No." Elena dropped to her knees, gripping his small shoulders. "Listen to me. This is not your fault. None of this is your fault. Do you understand?" Leo's bottom lip trembled, but he looked at me like he was mad I was there, like I ruined everything. "You ruined nothing. Your father made choices, bad choices, adult choices that have nothing to do with you." "Then why does my chest hurt?" His hand pressed against his heart. "Why does it hurt here?" Elena pulled both children close. Their pain, a living thing she couldn't shield them from, couldn't fix, couldn't make disappear no matter how desperately she wanted to. Her phone buzzed. "Derek. Derek. We need to talk. Today. Elena. No. Derek. Elena. I'm trying to be reasonable here. Elena. You lost the right to reasonable when you forgot your son's birthday to fuck your girlfriend." She hit send before she could stop herself. Let him choke on the truth. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "Derek, don't make this ugly." "Elena. You already did that." She blocked his number. Her hands shook, but her resolve didn't. "Mama?" Sophie's voice cut through. "What are we going to do about money?" Elena froze. She'd been avoiding that question, letting it circle like a shark in dark water. "What do you mean? I heard you and Dad fighting, last month, about bills, about the mortgage." Sophie's eyes were too old, too knowing. "He controls everything, doesn't he? The bank accounts, the credit cards, everything." "Sophie, I'm not a baby. I know we're going to be in trouble. Elena's throat closed. Her 9-year-old shouldn't know these things, shouldn't carry this weight. But Sophie was right. Derek controlled everything, had insisted on it from day one. His name on the mortgage, his name on the car loan. Joint accounts he monitored like a prison guard. She'd been a fool to let it happen. A fool to trust. Elena pulled up her banking app with trembling fingers. Their joint account showed $847. It had held over $12,000 3 days ago. Her stomach dropped into freefall. She clicked through the transaction history, her vision blurred with rage. Cash withdrawal, $3,000. Jewelry store, $4 and $200. Hotel charges, $1,850. Restaurant charges, $900, $650, $1, $200, all within the last 48 hours, all after their confrontation. Derek was draining everything, punishing her, leaving them with nothing. That son of a bitch, Elena breathed. Mama, you said a bad word. I'm gonna say worse ones. She grabbed her purse, her keys, her phone. Get dressed, both of you. We're going to the bank. Why? Because your father just declared war, and I'm not going down without a fight. 30 minutes later, Elena stood at the bank counter, her children pressed against her sides, facing a manager whose professional smile couldn't hide the pity in his eyes. Mrs. Morrison, I understand your concern, but without your husband's signature, I can't freeze the account. It's a joint account with equal access. He's stealing from us. Elena's voice shook. He drained $11,000 in 2 days. That's our mortgage, our groceries, our... She swallowed hard. Our survival. I understand, but legally... Legally, he's committing financial abuse. Legally, I have 2 children to feed. Legally... Her voice broke. Please, you have to help us. The manager's expression softened. He glanced at Leo and Sophie, then lowered his voice. I can't freeze the account without a court order. But I can help you open a new account. In your name only. Transfer what's left before he takes that too. Yes. Elena's hands shook as she signed paperwork. $847. That's what 15 years of marriage had left her. Less than a month's rent. Less than her weekly grocery budget. Thank you, she whispered. There's something else. The manager hesitated. Your husband opened a credit card in your name. Last month. Did you authorize that? The room tilted. What? A Visa. $15,000 limit. It's maxed out. Payments are overdue. I didn't sign anything. The application has your signature. Show me. He pulled up documents on his computer. Elena stared at her own signature perfectly forged on credit applications she'd never seen. Derek's handiwork. Derek's theft. Derek's systematic destruction of her financial life. He forged my signature. Her voice came out flat dead. That's fraud. That's something you'll need to report to the police. And a lawyer. I don't have money for a lawyer. I know someone. The manager scribbled a name and number on a business card. Marcus Chen. He's a counselor at Riverside Elementary. His sister's a family law attorney. She does pro bono work. Elena took the card with numb fingers. Marcus Chen. The name felt familiar. Had she met him at a school event? A parent-teacher conference? Thank you, she managed. Outside, Sophie grabbed her hand. Mama, your face is really red. Are you okay? No. The truth felt like freedom. I'm not okay. Your father stole from us. He forged my name. He committed crimes, Sophie. Actual crimes. Good. Sophie's voice turned hard. Now you can make him pay. Elena stared at her daughter. When had she grown so fierce, and felt something shift inside her chest? Not hope, not yet, but something harder, meaner. Determination. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Unknown. Mrs. Morrison. This is Vanessa Torres. We met last night. I know you have no reason to trust me, but I need to tell you something. About Derek. Something worse than the affair. Elena's fingers went numb. Elena. What? Vanessa. Can we meet? Today. I have evidence. Text messages. Bank records. Things he told me about you that you need to know. Elena. Why would you help me, Vanessa? Because I was wrong. And because what he's doing to you, what he planned to do, it's evil. Please. 1 hour. The coffee shop on Atlantic Avenue. Elena stared at the phone. This could be a trap. Derek could have put Vanessa up to this. Could be trying to manipulate her control. Her destroy her further. But what if it wasn't? What if Vanessa really did have evidence that could save them, Elena? 1 hour. If you're lying, I'll know. Vanessa. I'm not lying, I promise. You deserve the truth. Elena looked at her children. Who wants coffee and hot chocolate? Leo's hand shot up. Can I get whipped cream? You can get whatever you want, baby. Because their world was ending. Because Derek had stolen their money and their future. Because one hot chocolate with extra whipped cream was the least Elena could give her son on the worst week of his life. The coffee shop smelled like burnt espresso and broken dreams. Vanessa sat in the corner, no makeup, her hair pulled back, wearing jeans and a sweater that made her look younger, smaller, almost fragile. Nothing like the woman in red from last night. She stood when Elena approached, her hands twisting together. Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't. Elena gestured to Sophie and Leo. Kids, go pick out pastries. Whatever you want. They hesitated, eyeing Vanessa with suspicion and curiosity. It's okay, Elena said softly. I'm safe. Go on. Once they'd moved to the counter, Vanessa exhaled shakily. I owe you an apology. A real one. What I did being with Derek, believing his lies, it was wrong. Even if I didn't know about you at first, I should have questioned things. The late-night calls, the secrecy, the way he never let me come to his place. He told you we were divorced. He showed me papers, court documents, a settlement agreement. Vanessa pulled out her phone. I took pictures. Look. Elena leaned closer. The documents looked official, court stamps, legal language signatures. Her signature. Forged again. These are fake, Elena whispered. We're still married. We never even discussed divorce until... She stopped. Until last night. Vanessa's face crumpled. I'm so stupid. I should have known. Should have... She shook her head. That's not why I asked you here. Then why... Vanessa pulled a folder from her bag. Derek's planning something. Something bad. I didn't understand it at first. He'd make these calls late at night talking about assets and offshore accounts and divorce strategy. I thought he was helping a friend. But then last night after you left, he got drunk. Really drunk. And he told me the truth. Elena's hands clenched. What truth? He's been planning to divorce you for months. But not just divorce you, destroy you. He hired a lawyer 3 months ago. He's been systematically draining your joint accounts, opening credit in your name, building a case to prove you're financially irresponsible. He's going to claim you have mental health issues, that you're an unfit mother. The words hit like bullets. What? He's documenting everything. Times you forgot to pack lunches. Times the kids were late to school. He's got therapists lined up to testify you're unstable. He's planning to take full custody, sell the house, and leave you with nothing but debt in your name. Elena couldn't breathe. The coffee shop spun. This wasn't just betrayal. This was calculated destruction, premeditated murder of her life. Why? The word came out broken. Why would he do this? Because you're in the way. Vanessa's voice turned bitter. He wants to marry me. Or he did. He said you'd never agree to a divorce without taking half of everything. So he decided to make sure there was nothing to take. Make sure you looked like the problem. Make sure he got the kids and the house and his reputation while you got nothing. Worse than nothing. Debt, shame, a psychiatric record. He was going to destroy you so completely you'd never recover. Elena's vision blurred. 15 years. She'd given him 15 years. Raised his children. Supported his career. Sacrificed her own dreams. And this was her reward. I have proof. Vanessa spread papers across the table. Bank statements, text messages, emails to lawyers outlining Derek's strategy. I kept copies of everything. I don't know why. Maybe part of me knew something was wrong. Maybe I wanted insurance. Elena stared at the documents. Her own financial life dissected and weaponized against her. Her own husband planning her destruction like a military campaign. There's more. Vanessa's voice dropped. He took out a life insurance policy on you. $500,000. 6 months ago. The air left Elena's lungs. I'm not saying I don't think he's violent, but... Vanessa met Elena's eyes. Be careful. Please. Don't let him corner you alone. Don't drink anything he gives you. Don't... Stop. Elena's hand shot up. Stop talking. Because this was insane. This was paranoid conspiracy thinking. This was... Except it wasn't. Elena remembered the new vitamins Derek had insisted she take. The way he'd encouraged her to go to therapy to get on anxiety medication. The insurance agent who'd called about updating their policies. All of it pieces of a puzzle she'd been too trusting to see. He's trying to kill me, she whispered. I don't know. Maybe not literally, but financially, legally, emotionally. Vanessa nodded. Yes, he's trying to erase you. Sophie appeared at Elena's elbow, clutching a chocolate croissant, her eyes wide and terrified because she'd heard everything. Mama! Her voice was so small. Is Daddy really trying to hurt us? Elena pulled her daughter close, breathing in her fear and her courage and her desperate need for reassurance Elena couldn't give. Yes, baby. I think he is. Then we have to stop him. Sophie's jaw set. We have to fight back. From the mouths of babes. Elena turned to Vanessa. I need all of this. Every document, every text, every email. Can you? It's already yours. Vanessa pushed the folder across. And I'll testify. In court. Wherever you need. I'll tell them everything. Why? Elena's voice cracked. Why would you do this? You barely know me. Because I have a little sister. Vanessa's eyes filled. Same age as your Sophie. And if some man ever did to her what Derek's doing to you, her voice turned to steel, I'd burn his whole world down. So that's what I'm doing. For you, for your kids, for every woman who trusted the wrong man. Elena's throat closed with emotion she didn't have time for. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just make him pay. Elena gathered the documents with shaking hands. Evidence. Ammunition. The truth Derek thought would stay buried. Outside, she helped Leo and Sophie into the car, her mind racing. She needed a lawyer. Needed to file for divorce before Derek did. Needed to protect the kids, the house, whatever scraps of her life she could salvage. The business card the bank manager gave her felt heavy in her pocket. Marcus Chen, counselor at Riverside Elementary. Elena pulled out her phone and dialed before she could lose her nerve. Hello? A man's voice, warm and careful. Mr. Chen, my name is Elena Morrison. My kids go to Riverside. The bank manager said your sister is a lawyer. She is. Family law. Are you okay? You sound... I'm not okay. My husband... Her voice broke. I need help. I need help, and I don't have money, and I don't know what to do. Silence. Then, where are you right now? The parking lot, Atlantic Avenue coffee shop. Stay there. I'm 10 minutes away. Don't go anywhere. Don't call anyone. Just stay there. Can you do that? Elena's breath hitched. Why would you help me? You don't even know me. I know your son. His voice gentled. Leo's in my social emotional learning group. Sweet kid. Draws pictures of superheroes saving families. A pause. He drew one last week. Batman protecting his mom from a monster. The monster looked a lot like his dad. Elena's hand flew to her mouth. Kids know things, Marcus continued, before adults want to admit them. Leo's been asking me for weeks if it's normal for dads to forget birthdays. If it's normal for moms to cry in bathrooms during school events. If it's normal... His voice caught. If it's normal for families to break. Oh, God! Elena pressed her forehead to the steering wheel. He's been talking to you about this? That's what I'm here for. And Mrs. Morrison, Elena, whatever your husband did, whatever he's planning, you're not alone anymore. Understand? Elena nodded, even though he couldn't see her. Thank you. 10 minutes. Don't move. He hung up. Elena sat in the car documents, spread across her lap, her children arguing over the last bite of croissant in the back seat. Her marriage ending and her life crumbling, and something new, something fierce and unbreakable rising from the ashes. Her phone buzzed. Derek again from a different number. Derek, stop ignoring me. We will talk. Today. Or I'm coming to the house. Elena. Come to the house and I'm calling the police. I know what you did. The forged signatures, the credit fraud, the life insurance, all of it. 3 dots appeared. Stopped. Appeared again. Stopped. Then Derek. You're bluffing. Elena. Try me. She blocked that number too. Let him sweat. Let him panic. Let him taste what fear felt like when the walls closed in and the truth came hunting. 9 minutes later, a silver Honda pulled into the parking space beside her. A man stepped out, mid-30s Asian wearing worn jeans and a Riverside Elementary hoodie, kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, a face that radiated safety. Marcus Chen knocked gently on her window. Mrs. Morrison. Elena rolled it down, suddenly conscious of her unwashed hair, her yesterday's clothes, her eyes swollen from crying. Call me Elena, please. Elena. He crouched beside her door. My sister's on standby. But before we call her, I need you to tell me, are you safe right now? Are you in immediate danger? I don't know. The admission terrified her. My husband Derek, he's planned this whole thing, destroying me financially, making me look crazy, taking the kids. And there's life insurance, and Vanessa said... She stopped, overwhelmed. Who's Vanessa? His mistress, ex-mistress. She gave me evidence, documents, everything. Elena thrust the folder at him. He's trying to erase me, and I don't know if he'd actually hurt me physically, but you're scared. I'm terrified. Marcus took the folder, his expression darkening as he scanned the contents. This is bad, Elena. This is really bad. But it's also stupid. What? Your husband documented his own crimes, the forged signatures, the fraudulent credit applications, the systematic asset stripping. Marcus looked up. He gave you everything you need to destroy him in court, and he was dumb enough to tell his mistress about it. So, what do I do? First, we call my sister, get a restraining order, file for divorce before he does. Second, we go to the police. This is fraud, identity theft, financial abuse, criminal charges. Elena's stomach twisted. Will they believe me? With this evidence? Marcus waved the folder. They'd be idiots not to. But Elena... He hesitated. This is going to get ugly. Derek's going to fight back. He's going to lie. He's going to try to paint you as the villain. Are you ready for that? Elena looked at her children in the back seat. Sophie watching her with those 2 old eyes, Leo clutching his Batman cape, both of them depending on her to be strong enough, brave enough, unbreakable enough. I don't have a choice, she said quietly. If I don't fight, he wins. And if he wins, my kids lose everything. Then let's make sure he loses. Marcus straightened. I'm calling my sister now. She'll meet us at the police station. We're filing reports today. Restraining order by tonight. Divorce papers by tomorrow. I can't afford. She's pro bono, no cost. He pulled out his phone. And Elena, you're going to get through this. I've seen a lot of families in crisis. The ones who survive are the ones who refuse to stay silent. You're not silent anymore. Elena's hands stopped shaking. No, I'm not. While Marcus made calls, Elena texted Vanessa, "Thank you. You saved my life today." The response came immediately. "You saved mine too. Make him hurt." Sophie leaned forward from the back seat. "Mama, are we going to be okay?" Elena turned, meeting her daughter's eyes. Derek's eyes, but fiercer, braver, belonging to someone who hadn't learned yet that the world could break you. "Yes, baby, we're going to be okay. Promise." Elena thought about the $847 in her new bank account, the mountain of debt in her name, the mortgage she couldn't afford, the husband who wanted her erased, the future that looked like scorched earth. "I promise," she lied. Because sometimes lies were kinder than truth. Sometimes mothers lied to give their children hope. Sometimes hope was all that kept you breathing. Marcus hung up. "My sister's waiting. Police station. Now. She says to bring the kids they need to be on record as present as witnesses to your mental state. It helps the case." Elena started the car with hands that finally felt steady. "Let's go." "Mama." Leo's small voice. "Is Daddy in trouble?" "Yes, sweetheart. Big trouble." "Good." His voice turned hard sharp, nothing like the sweet boy who'd wished for his father just yesterday. "He deserves it." Elena's heart broke a little more, but she drove anyway. Toward the police station. Toward lawyers and restraining orders, and the systematic destruction of the man who'd tried to destroy her first. Derek Morrison had made a mistake. A fatal, terrible, unforgivable mistake. He'd assumed Elena was weak, assumed she'd crumble, assumed she'd accept her erasure quietly. He'd forgotten the most important thing cornered animals bite back. And Elena Morrison had just grown fangs. The police station smelled like stale coffee and bureaucratic indifference. Elena sat in a hard plastic chair, Leo asleep against her shoulder. Sophie clutching her hand like a lifeline. Marcus stood nearby, phone pressed to his ear, his voice low and urgent as he coordinated with his sister. A detective finally called Elena's name. Detective Patricia Walsh, 50-something, with tired eyes that had seen too many women in Elena's position. She gestured them into a small interview room. "Mrs. Morrison, I understand you want to file a report regarding your husband." Elena's throat tightened. This was it. The moment she turned Derek from husband to criminal. The moment she crossed a line she could never uncross. "He forged my signature, opened credit cards in my name, drained our accounts. He's been planning to," her voice broke, "to destroy me, financially, legally. He took out life insurance on me without my knowledge." Detective Walsh's pen stopped moving. "Life insurance. $500,000, 6 months ago. I never signed anything." The detective's expression hardened. "Do you feel you're in physical danger from your husband?" Elena looked at her children. Sophie's face pale and drawn. Leo's small body trembling even in sleep. "I don't know. I didn't think so. But now..." She pushed Vanessa's folder across the table. "His mistress gave me these. Evidence of everything." Walsh flipped through the documents, her jaw tightening with each page. Jesus Christ, he documented everything. The idiot actually wrote down his plan to commit fraud. "So you believe me?" "Mrs. Morrison, I've been doing this 23 years. I've seen a lot of financial abuse. But this..." She tapped the folder. "This is premeditated. This is conspiracy. This is a man who planned your destruction like a business merger." She looked up. "Yeah, I believe you." Elena's breath hitched with relief so intense it hurt. "I'm opening a criminal investigation. Tonight. We'll need your signature on statements. We'll need to interview the mistress Vanessa Torres, is it? And we'll need to move fast, because once your husband realizes what you've done..." The door burst open. Marcus stumbled in his face, white. Elena, we have a problem. Derek's at your house. He's changing the locks. Elena shot to her feet. He can't do that. It's my house too. He can until the restraining order goes through, and that won't happen until tomorrow morning. Marcus grabbed her arm. My sister says you need to get back there now. Establish presence. Make sure he doesn't claim you abandoned the property. Detective Walsh stood. I'll send a unit with you. This situation's escalating fast. We need to contain it before someone gets hurt. Someone. Elena's stomach twisted. Did Walsh think Derek would hurt her? Hurt the kids? Sophie, wake your brother. We're leaving. But Mama. Now Sophie. They ran to the car Marcus driving because Elena's hands shook too hard to hold the wheel. 2 police cruisers followed, lights off but present, protective. Elena's phone exploded with messages. Derek. Where are you? Why aren't you home? The kids need to be in bed. Derek. Stop playing games. Elena. This is childish. Derek. If you're not back in 10 minutes, I'm calling CPS. Neglect. Abandonment. Each text a new wound, a new threat, a new promise of destruction. He's threatening to call Child Protective Services, Elena whispered. He's going to claim I abandoned them. With cops as witnesses that you're rushing home to protect them. Marcus's voice stayed calm. Let him try. He's digging his own grave. They pulled onto Elena's street. Her house blazed with lights, every window illuminated like a stage set for tragedy. Derek's BMW sat in the driveway, engine still running. Elena's heart hammered against her ribs. He's still here. Good. Detective Walsh's voice crackled over Marcus's phone on speaker. Means we can serve him with preliminary notice. Keep the line open. If anything happens, we hear it. Elena climbed out of the car. Sophie and Leo pressed against her sides, their fear palpable. Marcus positioned himself slightly in front of them, a human shield. The front door opened before Elena reached it. Derek stood in the threshold. His tie loosened his hair, disheveled, whiskey on his breath, and rage in his eyes. Where the hell have you been? His voice cracked like a whip. You took my children without telling me. You disappeared for hours. They're my children too. Elena's voice came out steady, despite the terror flooding her veins. And I didn't disappear. I took them for coffee while you drained our bank accounts and changed the locks on my house. My house. My name on the deed. Marital property. My home for 15 years. Derek's eyes flickered to Marcus. Who the fuck is this? Someone helping me. Someone who actually cares about my kids' well-being. Oh, I see. Derek's laugh turned ugly. Already got yourself a replacement, huh? That was fast. 24 hours, and you're whoring around with, finish that sentence, and I'll arrest you for harassment in front of your children. Detective Walsh emerged from the police cruiser, her badge held high. Derek Morrison. Derek's face went chalk white. What is this? I'm Detective Patricia Walsh, NYPD. Your wife filed a report tonight alleging fraud, identity theft, and financial abuse. We're opening a criminal investigation. That's insane. She's lying. She's clearly unstable. Look at her dragging the kids around at night, shacking up with strange men. I have documentation. Walsh held up Vanessa's folder. Forged signatures, fraudulent credit applications, text messages outlining your plan to destroy your wife financially and legally. Your girlfriend was very cooperative. The color drained from Derek's face. Vanessa talked to you. To your wife, who brought the evidence to us. You want to tell me these signatures are real? Walsh showed him the credit applications. Because I can get a handwriting expert here in an hour. Derek's mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. No words came out. That's what I thought. Walsh stepped closer. Here's how this works. Tomorrow morning, your wife's filing for divorce and a restraining order. You're going to vacate this property. You're going to cease all contact except through lawyers. You're going to stop the financial abuse, the threats, the harassment, or I will personally make sure you spend the next 5 to 10 years in prison for fraud. Are we clear? You can't kick me out of my own house. Watch me." Walsh turned to Elena. "Do you want him removed tonight?" Elena looked at Derek, the man she'd loved, the man who'd destroyed her, the man who'd forgotten their son's birthday to plan her erasure. "Yes," she whispered. "Get him out." "Elena, please!" Derek's voice cracked. For the first time, he sounded desperate. "We can fix this. We can talk. I made mistakes, but we can—" "You didn't make mistakes." Elena's voice turned to ice. "You committed crimes against me, against our family, and you did it deliberately, methodically for months. I never meant to hurt you. Liar." The word exploded out of Sophie. She stepped forward, small fists, clenched tears streaming. "You're a liar, Daddy. You forgot Leo's birthday. You made Mama cry. You stole our money. You're a bad person, and I hate you." The silence that followed felt apocalyptic. Derek stared at his daughter, his mouth working soundlessly. "Sophie, baby." "Don't call me baby. I'm not your baby. You don't get to call me that anymore." Leo woke up disoriented and scared. What's happening? Why is everyone yelling? "Your father's leaving." Elena's voice stayed level. "Say goodbye if you want to." Leo looked at Derek, the man who'd thrown him on shoulders in Central Park, the man who'd taught him to ride a bike, the man who'd forgotten his birthday for a woman in a red dress. "Bye, Daddy." Leo's voice came out small and final. "I don't think I love you anymore." The words landed like bullets. Derek flinched, his face crumpling. "Leo, please, I'm still your father. No." Leo pressed against Elena. "Mama's my family now, and Sophie, and Mr. Marcus. You're not family anymore." Derek's breath hitched. He reached for his son, but Walsh stepped between them. "Time to go, Mr. Morrison. Pack a bag. You've got 10 minutes. Derek stumbled inside. Elena heard drawers slamming hangers, rattling the sounds of a life dismantled in real time. He emerged carrying a suitcase and a garment bag, his movements mechanical, defeated. At the door he stopped, looked back at Elena. "I never wanted it to end like this." "Then you shouldn't have started it." He flinched again, nodded, walked to his BMW without another word. Elena watched his taillights disappear into the night, taking 15 years of marriage with them. She waited for grief, for regret, for something other than the cold, clean relief that flooded her bones. "Mama," Sophie's voice. "Is he really gone?" "Yes, baby. He's really gone. Forever." Elena looked at her daughter. "I don't know, but tonight we're safe." Detective Walsh approached, her voice gentle. "You did good tonight, Elena. Really good. Most women don't find the courage to fight back." "I didn't have a choice. We always have choices. You chose your kids. You chose survival. That takes guts." Walsh handed her a card. "My direct line. Anything happens, anything, you call me, day or night." "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet. This is just the beginning. Tomorrow, the real fight starts." Walsh glanced at Marcus. "You sticking around?" "If Elena wants me to." Elena met his eyes. She barely knew this man, but he'd shown up when she needed him, had protected her children without hesitation, had stood between her and Derek's rage like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Please," she whispered, "I don't want to be alone tonight." "You won't be." Marcus's voice carried a promise. "I'll sleep on the couch. Make sure nobody comes back." Walsh nodded approval. "Good. Keep the doors locked. Security system on. Phone charged. And Elena, get some sleep. Tomorrow, you're going to need your strength." After the police left, Elena herded the kids upstairs, Sophie's room first. Her daughter climbed into bed still wearing her clothes from yesterday. Time had lost meaning. Mama, are we going to be poor now? The question stabbed. I don't know, baby. Maybe for a while. That's okay. Sophie's voice turned fierce. I don't need stuff. I just need you to be okay. Elena kissed her forehead. I love you so much. You know that? I know. I love you too. And Mama, I'm glad you're fighting back. I was scared you'd let him win. Never. Elena stroked her daughter's hair. I'm done letting people walk over us. In Leo's room, her son was already half asleep, his Batman cape spread across his pillow like armor. Mama. His eyes fluttered. Is Daddy a bad guy now? How did she answer that? How did she explain that people weren't binary? That love and harm could coexist? That his father was both the man who'd taught him to swim and the man who'd tried to destroy their family? Your daddy made bad choices, sweetheart. Really bad choices. But that doesn't mean he never loved you. He forgot my birthday. I know. Batman wouldn't forget. Leo's voice carried absolute certainty. Batman always remembers the important stuff. You're right. Batman does. Am I gonna see Daddy again? Elena's throat closed. I don't know. Maybe. Someday. When things are safer. Okay. Leo yawned. I'm tired, Mama. My brain hurts from thinking. Mine too, baby. Sleep now. She pulled his blanket up, watching his face relax into the innocent peace children found so easily. How long until that innocence was gone completely? How long until Derek's betrayal shaped Leo into someone harder, more cynical, less trusting? Downstairs, Marcus had made coffee. He handed her a mug without asking, like he'd done this 1,000 times before. How are you holding up? He asked. Elena laughed, the sound brittle and broken. I don't know. I feel like I'm underwater. Like everything's happening to someone else and I'm just watching. That's shock. Normal response to trauma. You talk like you've seen this before. I work with kids from broken homes every day. See the aftermath of parents destroying each other. Marcus sipped his coffee. But Elena? What you did tonight, standing up to him, that's rare. Most people stay trapped because they're too scared to fight. I'm terrified. Being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means being scared and doing it anyway. Elena sank onto the couch, exhaustion crashing over her in waves. He was planning to kill me. We don't know that. The life insurance, Marcus. The systematic destruction of my credibility. The forged psychiatric records Vanessa mentioned. Her voice cracked. He was either going to kill me or make me kill myself. Either way, he wins. Gets the kids, gets the insurance money, gets to play grieving widower. Marcus set his mug down carefully. That's why you're not alone anymore. That's why we document everything. That's why my sister's going scorched earth on him legally. What if it's not enough? What if he... Her phone rang. Unknown number. Elena's hand trembled as she answered. Hello. Elena Morrison. A woman's voice, official and clipped. This is Karen Rodriguez from Child Protective Services. We received a report tonight alleging child neglect and endangerment. I need to schedule an emergency home visit. The room tilted. What from who? The report was filed anonymously, but it alleges you removed your children from their home, exposed them to dangerous situations, and are currently cohabitating with an unvetted male. Derek. Derek had actually done it, had called CPS like he'd threatened. That's a lie. Elena's voice shook. I took my children away from my husband, who was committing financial crimes. The police were present. Detective Patricia Walsh can verify. Ma'am, I understand you're upset, but I still need to conduct a home visit. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. If you refuse, I'll have to escalate this to emergency removal. Removal. The word punched the air from Elena's lungs. You're going to take my kids? Not if everything checks out. But given the serious nature of the allegations, domestic violence, drug use, prostitution. What? Elena shot to her feet. He said I was prostituting, That I'm on drugs. That's insane. That's... Ma'am, I'm not making accusations. I'm telling you what was reported. 9 a.m. tomorrow. Be there with both children. If you're not, I'm getting a court order. The woman hung up. Elena stared at her phone, her entire body shaking. He called CPS. Derek called Child Protective Services and told them I'm a prostitute and a drug addict. Marcus's face went hard. Did you get her name? Karen Rodriguez. Okay, we can handle this. Marcus pulled out his phone. My sister knows people in family court. We'll get statements from Detective Walsh, medical records proving you're not on drugs. They're going to take my kids. Elena's voice came out dead. Derek's going to win. He's going to take everything and there's nothing I can do to stop him. Elena, look at me. Marcus gripped her shoulders. Look at me. He's not winning. This is a desperate move, a scared move. He knows you have evidence. He knows the cops are investigating. So he's trying to weaponize the system against you before you can use it against him. It's working. Only if you let it. Tomorrow morning, Karen Rodriguez is going to walk into a clean house with happy kids and a mother who's got a police report, a lawyer, and documented evidence of her husband's crimes. She's going to see through Derek's lies in about 5 seconds. You don't know that. I work with CPS weekly. I know exactly how they operate. And Elena, they hate false reports. Hate parents who weaponize the system. If Derek filed this report with false allegations, he's the one who's going to be in trouble. Elena wanted to believe him. Wanted to believe this nightmare would end with justice and safety and her children in her arms. But she'd believed Derek too. For 15 years, she'd believed him. And look where that got her. I need to clean the house, she whispered. I need to make sure everything's perfect. You need to sleep. Marcus's voice stayed gentle. For 3 hours. I'll stay awake. I'll make sure nobody comes. And at 6 a.m., I'll help you clean. But right now, Elena, you need rest. Your body's running on adrenaline, and it's going to crash. I can't sleep. What if Derek comes back? What if... I'm here. The doors are locked. The security system's on. And if he comes within 100 feet of this house, I'm calling the cops. Marcus guided her toward the stairs. 3 hours. That's all I'm asking. Elena climbed the stairs on autopilot. In her bedroom, hers and Derek's, still smelling like his cologne, still holding the ghost of their dead marriage, she collapsed on top of the covers fully clothed. Sleep claimed her in seconds, pulling her under into dreams where Derek's face morphed into a monster's, where her children screamed for her from behind locked doors, where she ran and ran, but never moved. She woke to sunlight and the smell of pancakes. For one confused moment, she thought Derek had come home, had made breakfast like he used to in the early years. Then reality crashed back. The restaurant. The police. The CPS call. Elena stumbled downstairs. Marcus stood at her stove, flipping pancakes, while Sophie and Leo sat at the table actually smiling. Mr. Marcus makes funny shapes, Leo announced. Look, this one's a dinosaur. It's supposed to be a heart, Marcus corrected, grinning. My pancake art needs work. Sophie laughed. Actually laughed, and the sound was so unexpected, so precious, Elena's throat tightened. What time is it? She asked. 7:30. I cleaned the house while you slept. Dishes done, floors mopped, laundry folded. CPS lady's going to walk into a Martha Stewart showcase. Elena stared at him. Why would you do all this? You barely know us. Marcus flipped another pancake. My mom left my dad when I was 8. He tried to take me and my sister. Said mom was crazy on drugs, sleeping around. All lies. But CPS showed up anyway. And you know what saved us? He met her eyes. Our neighbor. An old guy named Frank who barely spoke English, but who'd seen my dad hit my mom. Who'd heard the fights. Who stood up in court and told the truth even though he was scared. Oh, Elena breathed. Frank saved our lives. So when I see someone like you fighting like my mom fought... Marcus's voice roughened. I show up. I be frank. Because maybe if enough people show up, the good guys actually win sometimes. Elena's eyes burned. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just feed your kids and get ready. CPS will be here in 90 minutes. At exactly 9 a.m., the doorbell rang. Elena opened it to find a woman in her 40s carrying a clipboard and wearing an expression of professional skepticism that made Elena's stomach clench. Mrs. Morrison, I'm Karen Rodriguez. Please come in. Rodriguez's eyes swept the house, cataloging everything. Clean floors, folded laundry, children's artwork on the fridge, fresh pancakes on the table. These are my children Sophie and Leo. Elena gestured. And this is Marcus Chen. He's a counselor at their school. Rodriguez's expression flickered with recognition. Mr. Chen, I've worked with you before. Mrs. Rodriguez. Marcus's voice stayed professional. Elena called me last night after her husband committed financial crimes and threatened her. I stayed to ensure the children's safety. Detective Patricia Walsh of NYPD can verify everything. Rodriguez's pen stopped moving. Detective Walsh. Yes, we filed a police report last night. Fraud, identity theft, financial abuse. Elena has documentation. Marcus handed her a folder. Everything's here, including the forged signatures her husband used to open credit in her name. Rodriguez flipped through pages, her expression shifting from skeptical to shocked to angry. Jesus, this is... She looked up at Elena. You're telling me your husband filed a false CPS report to retaliate for you reporting his crimes? Yes. And the allegations of drug use, prostitution, domestic violence. All lies. Rodriguez closed the folder. Mrs. Morrison, I need to speak with your children, separately. Is that okay? Elena's heart hammered. Of course. Sophie went first. Elena stood in the kitchen, straining to hear the murmured conversation in the living room. After 10 minutes, Sophie emerged, her face unreadable. She wants Leo now. Leo went in his Batman cape, dragging. Elena counted every second. 5 minutes. 10. 15. Finally, Leo ran back to her. Mama, the lady wants to talk to you. Rodriguez sat on the couch, her expression softer than before. Mrs. Morrison, I've conducted thousands of home visits. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, there is no neglect here. No abuse. No danger to these children. She paused. But there is a father weaponizing the system to hurt his ex-wife. And that I take personally. Elena's breath rushed out. So you're not taking them? Taking them, God, no. But I am going to document this visit, submit my report, and recommend to the family court judge that your husband be sanctioned for filing a false report. Rodriguez stood. And Mrs. Morrison, off the record, destroy him. Men like your husband don't deserve children. After Rodriguez left, Elena sank onto the couch, her entire body shaking with relief. She believed me, she whispered. She actually believed me. Of course she did. Marcus handed her coffee. Because you're telling the truth. Elena's phone buzzed. Derek. You turned my own kids against me. You called the cops on me. You destroyed my reputation. I hope you're happy. Elena stared at the message, then typed back. I didn't destroy anything. You did that yourself. Stay away from us. She blocked his number for the 3rd time. But she knew it wouldn't be the last she heard from Derek Morrison. The war had only just begun. 2 weeks crawled by like wounded animals. Elena lived in a fog of lawyer meetings, court paperwork, and sleepless nights where every creak of the house sent her heart into panic mode. Marcus stayed close, sleeping on her couch most nights, driving the kids to school when Elena couldn't face the other mother's pitying stares. The divorce papers arrived on a Tuesday, delivered by a process server who wouldn't meet her eyes. Elena signed them with shaking hands, officially ending 15 years in 30 seconds of pen scratches. Derek's response came 3 days later. He wasn't just fighting the divorce, he was demanding full custody, claiming Elena had mental health issues, substance abuse problems, and engaged in prostitution. His lawyer had attached affidavits from people Elena had never met, swearing they'd witnessed her erratic behavior. "He's fabricating witnesses," Marcus's sister Jennifer said during their strategy meeting. She was 35, sharp-eyed, with the kind of courtroom presence that made opposing counsel sweat. "But we've got Vanessa's testimony, Detective Walsh's report, the CPS evaluation. He's building a house of cards, and we're going to blow it down." "What if the judge believes him?" Elena's voice came out small. "What if they take my kids anyway?" "They won't." Jennifer's certainty should have been comforting. "But Elena, you need to prepare yourself. Derek's going to say horrible things in court. He's going to paint you as the villain. Can you handle that?" "I don't have a choice." "Good answer." The custody hearing was set for Monday 9 a.m. Elena spent the weekend coaching herself to stay calm, to not react to let Jennifer do the talking. But nothing prepared her for walking into that courtroom and seeing Derek sitting at the opposite table, looking wounded and innocent, in a perfectly tailored suit, his lawyer whispering reassurances while he dabbed at his eyes with a handkerchief. "He's crying," Elena hissed to Jennifer. "He's actually fake crying." "Let him." Judge Carter sees through performative grief. "Just stay calm." Judge Linda Carter entered a black woman in her 60s with steel gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. "Let's begin. This is a preliminary custody hearing in Morrison versus Morrison. Mr. Morrison, your attorney may present." Derek's lawyer stood a silver-haired man named Richard Brennan, who probably charged $500 an hour. "Your Honor, my client is a devoted father whose children have been alienated from him by his wife's increasingly erratic behavior. Over the past months, Mrs. Morrison has exhibited signs of severe mental instability, substance abuse, and has exposed the children to dangerous individuals." Elena's fingernails dug into her palms. Jennifer's hand covered hers in warning. "Stay calm. We have witnesses prepared to testify to Mrs. Morrison's neglectful parenting, her failure to maintain appropriate boundaries, and her recent involvement with a male companion who has unlimited access to the children despite no background check or vetting." Marcus tensed beside Elena. That was about him. They were attacking him now, too. "Furthermore, Your Honor, Mrs. Morrison has poisoned the children against their father. She orchestrated a public humiliation at a restaurant where Mr. Morrison was conducting business." Business. The word exploded from Elena before she could stop it. He was on a date with his mistress. Judge Carter's gavel cracked. "Mrs. Morrison, you'll have your turn." Mr. Brennan, continue. "As you can see, Your Honor, Mrs. Morrison is unable to control her emotional outbursts. This instability has created an unsafe environment for Sophie and Leo Morrison. My client is requesting immediate full custody with supervised visitation for the mother pending psychiatric evaluation." The words hit like physical blows. Supervised visitation, psychiatric evaluation. They wanted to take her kids and lock her away like she was the criminal. "Your Honor, if I may." Jennifer stood, her voice cutting through the courtroom like a blade. "Everything Mr. Brennan just said is a lie, and we have proof." Brennan's face flushed. "Your Honor, that's highly inappropriate." "Is it?" Jennifer pulled out the folder Vanessa had provided. "Because I have documented evidence of Mr. Morrison's systematic fraud, including forged signatures, identity theft, and financial abuse spanning 8 months. I have testimony from Mr. Morrison's own mistress confirming his plan to destroy Mrs. Morrison's credibility and reputation. I have police reports. I have CPS evaluations clearing Mrs. Morrison of all neglect allegations. And I have bank records showing Mr. Morrison drained their joint accounts the day after his affair was discovered." Judge Carter leaned forward. "Let me see that." Jennifer approached the bench, handing over documents. Elena watched the judge's expression shift from neutral to shocked to coldly furious as she read. "Mr. Brennan, did you know your client forged his wife's signature on multiple credit applications?" Brennan's face went pale. "Your Honor, those allegations are—" "Answer the question." "My client denies any wrongdoing." These are bank documents, credit applications with forensic handwriting analysis confirming forgery. Carter looked at Derek. Mr. Morrison, stand up. Derek stood slowly, his wounded victim act crumbling. Did you or did you not forge your wife's signature to open lines of credit in her name? Your Honor, I can explain, yes or no. Derek's jaw worked. It was joint money. I had a right. That's not what I asked. Did you forge her signature? Silence. Damning, terrible silence. Sit down, Mr. Morrison. Carter's voice could have frozen hell. Ms. Chen, present your case. Jennifer stood, and for the next hour she systematically destroyed every lie Derek had built. She called Vanessa Torres to the stand, and the courtroom watched in stunned silence as Derek's former mistress detailed his manipulation, his lies, his plan to erase Elena from existence. He told me she was crazy. Vanessa said, her voice steady despite the tears on her cheeks. He said she was on drugs, that she'd abandoned the kids, that he needed to protect them from her. I believed him, but it was all lies. Every word. Did Mr. Morrison ever discuss life insurance with you? Jennifer asked. Elena's breath caught. She hadn't known Jennifer would go there. Yes. Vanessa's voice dropped. He said once Elena was out of the picture, we'd be set for life. He said the insurance policy would give us a fresh start. The courtroom erupted. Derek shot to his feet. That's not, she's lying. I never said that. Mr. Morrison, sit down. Judge Carter's gavel cracked like thunder. She's trying to frame me. This is a conspiracy. One more outburst and you'll be held in contempt. Derek collapsed into his chair, his face red, his carefully constructed mask finally shattering. Jennifer called Marcus next. He took the stand with quiet dignity, answering every question about his background, his training, his work with children. Mr. Chen, have you ever been alone with the Morrison children inappropriately? No, I've never been alone with them at all. I stay in common areas. I sleep on the couch. I'm there to provide support to a family in crisis, which is literally my job. Have you witnessed any neglect or abuse from Mrs. Morrison? The opposite. I've watched her sacrifice everything to protect her kids. She works 2 jobs now to pay bills her husband left her with. She makes every school event, every doctor's appointment, every bedtime story. She's the best mother I've ever seen. Elena's eyes burned. She hadn't known Marcus saw all that. Hadn't realized anyone was watching her hold the world together with duct tape and prayers. Then Jennifer called Detective Walsh. The detective's testimony about Derek's crimes, the evidence she'd collected, the ongoing criminal investigation, landed like bombs. By the time Walsh stepped down, Derek looked like a man watching his execution. Finally, Jennifer called Elena. Walking to the stand felt like walking to the gallows. Elena's legs shook. Her hands trembled as she placed them on the Bible to swear in. Mrs. Morrison, how long were you married to Derek Morrison? 15 years. And during those 15 years, did he ever give you reason to doubt his fidelity? No, I trusted him completely. When did you discover the affair? Elena's voice cracked. At my son's 6th birthday dinner. Derek walked into the restaurant with his mistress while Leo was blowing out his candles. Someone in the gallery gasped. Judge Carter's expression tightened with sympathy. How did your son react? He cried. He asked me why his father forgot his birthday. He asked me if he'd done something wrong. Elena's voice broke completely. My 6-year-old baby thought his father's betrayal was his fault. And what did you do? I took my children home. I tried to protect them. And the next morning, I discovered my husband had drained our bank accounts, forged my signature on credit cards, and filed false CPS reports claiming I was a drug-addicted prostitute. Objection. Brennan shot up. Your Honor, inflammatory language. Overruled. Those are the exact allegations Mr. Morrison made to Child Protective Services. Continue, Mrs. Morrison. Elena looked directly at Derek. I spent 15 years making excuses for you, telling the kids you were just busy, that you loved them even when you didn't show it. I protected your image, your reputation, your lies. And you repaid me by trying to destroy me. Mrs. Morrison. Jennifer's voice gentled. If given custody, what would you do? I'd give my children the stability they deserve. I'd never turn them against their father despite everything he's done. I'd let them love him if they choose to, but I won't let him hurt them anymore. I won't let him teach my son that women are disposable. I won't let him teach my daughter that love means accepting abuse. She looked at the judge. I'm not perfect, but I'm here, I'm present, and I'm fighting for them. That's more than Derek ever did. The silence that followed felt sacred. Thank you, Mrs. Morrison. Jennifer helped her down. Judge Carter shuffled papers, her expression unreadable. I've heard enough. I'm ready to rule. Elena's heart stopped. This was it. The moment that would determine whether she kept her children or lost them to the man who'd tried to erase her. Mr. Morrison, I've practiced family law for 30 years, and in those 30 years, I've seen a lot of fathers claim their wives are crazy to avoid accountability for their own actions. But this, Carter gestured to the evidence, this is beyond anything I've ever witnessed. You didn't just cheat on your wife, you systematically destroyed her financially. You forged legal documents. You filed false reports with government agencies. You weaponized the system against a woman whose only crime was trusting you. Derek opened his mouth. Carter's hand shot up. I'm not finished. You forgot your son's birthday to wine and dine your mistress. Then you had the audacity to walk into family court and claim you're the victim. That takes a level of narcissism I find deeply disturbing. Your Honor, please. Mr. Morrison, you're under criminal investigation for fraud. Child Protective Services cleared your wife of all allegations and recommended sanctions against you for filing a false report. Your own mistress testified you planned to use life insurance proceeds after your wife was out of the picture. Do you understand how that sounds? Derek's face went white. I never meant it wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Explain to me how forging your wife's signature on credit cards was an act of love. Explain how draining your children's college fund to buy jewelry for your girlfriend was responsible parenting. Derek couldn't. He sat there, mouth opening and closing like a fish drowning in air. Here's my ruling. Mrs. Morrison is awarded full legal and physical custody of Sophie and Leo Morrison. Mr. Morrison will have supervised visitation only 2 hours per week, supervised by a court-appointed monitor. He will pay child support in the amount of $2,000 per month retroactive to the date of separation. He will reimburse Mrs. Morrison for all fraudulent charges with interest. And if he violates this order in any way, I will hold him in contempt, and he will spend 30 days in jail. Are we clear? Your Honor, this is outrageous. Brennan started. Are we clear, Mr. Morrison? Derek nodded, defeated. Yes, Your Honor. Good. And Mr. Morrison, if I ever see you in my courtroom again trying to manipulate the system to hurt your ex-wife, I will throw the book at you. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. This hearing is adjourned. The gavel fell with the finality of a door slamming shut on Elena's old life. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Sophie, who'd been sitting in the gallery with a victim advocate, ran down the aisle and threw herself into Elena's arms. You won, Mama. You won. Elena held her daughter, tears streaming down her face. Not tears of joy. Not yet. But tears of relief so profound, it felt like resurrection. Leo joined them, his small arms wrapping around both of them. Does this mean we don't have to see Daddy if we don't want to? It means you're safe, baby. You're both safe. Marcus stood nearby, giving them space, but staying close enough to catch Elena if she fell. Jennifer gathered her papers, satisfaction written across her face. Derek remained at his table, Brennan whispering urgently in his ear, probably about appeals and motions and ways to fight this. But Elena saw the truth in Derek's slumped shoulders, his bowed head, his shaking hands. He'd lost. Finally, completely, utterly lost. Elena walked past his table on the way out. He looked up, his eyes meeting hers. Elena, please. Can we just talk? No. The word came out clear and final. You lost the right to talk to me when you tried to destroy me. Stay away from us, Derek. The judge said supervised visits. That's all you get. The kids need their father. The kids needed their father 6 months ago, a year ago, on Leo's birthday. Elena's voice stayed level. But you weren't there. You were too busy planning my destruction. So no, Derek. You don't get to play victim now. She walked out of the courtroom into blinding sunlight, her children on either side. Marcus a solid presence behind her. Free. Finally free. But freedom came with a price tag. That night, after the kids were asleep, Elena sat at her kitchen table surrounded by bills she couldn't pay. Mortgage due. Electric bill overdue. Car payment late. Her paycheck from the tutoring job barely covered groceries. $2,000 a month in child support sounds like a lot, she muttered, until you realize the mortgage alone is $3,000. Marcus looked up from his laptop where he'd been grading papers. You could sell the house. And go where rent in Brooklyn costs more than the mortgage. And the kids, this is the only home they've known. So we figure it out. Marcus closed his laptop. You're not alone, Elena. You know that, right? You keep saying we. Why are you still here? The question hung between them. Marcus was quiet for a long moment, his fingers drumming on the table. My mom died 3 years ago, he said finally. Cancer, fast and brutal. And you know what her biggest regret was? That she didn't leave my dad sooner. She spent 20 years in a bad marriage because she was scared. Because she thought she couldn't survive alone. He looked at Elena. When I see you fighting like this, refusing to stay trapped protecting your kids, I see the woman my mom could have been if she'd been braver. So I stay. Because somebody should have stayed for her. Elena's throat closed. I'm sorry about your mom. Me too. But I'm not sorry about being here. About helping you. Unless... He hesitated. Unless you want me to go... No. The word came out too fast, too desperate. Elena cleared her throat. I mean, the kids love having you around. And She stopped. What was she trying to say? That she'd started looking forward to seeing him every morning. That his presence made her feel safe in ways Derek never had. That somewhere between the police station and the courtroom, Marcus Chen had become essential. I appreciate everything you've done, she finished lamely. Marcus smiled, but something flickered in his eyes. Disappointment. Hope. Elena couldn't read it. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Unknown. You think you won. You haven't won anything. I'm going to appeal. I'm going to fight this until I get my kids back. You're not going to keep them from me. Elena's blood went cold. Derek's threatening to appeal. Marcus read the message over her shoulder. Forward that to Jennifer and Detective Walsh. He's violating the judge's order by contacting you directly. Elena did her hands shaking. Another text came through. Derek. You've turned my own children against me. You've destroyed my career. You've ruined my life. I hope you're happy. Elena. You did that yourself. Leave us alone. Derek. I'm their father. You can't erase me. Elena. Watch me. She blocked the number. But she knew it wouldn't stop him. Men like Derek didn't accept defeat. They circled and plotted and waited for the moment to strike back. What if he does something? Elena whispered. What if he tries to take them from school or... We've got court orders, restraining orders. The school's been notified. Sophie and Leo are on pickup restriction lists. Marcus gripped her hand. He'd have to kidnap them, and if he's that stupid, he'll spend the next 10 years in prison. He's desperate. Desperate people do crazy things. So do protective mothers. And Elena, you've proven you're willing to do whatever it takes to keep them safe. The words should have been comforting. Instead, they felt like a prophecy, a warning of battles still to come. 3 days later, Elena was loading groceries into her car when a black SUV pulled up beside her. The window rolled down. Derek's face appeared haggard and unshaven. "Elena, please, just give me 5 minutes." Her heart hammered. "You're violating the restraining order. I'm calling the cops." "No, wait, I just need to explain." "You had 15 years to explain. Get away from me." She fumbled for her phone. "I made mistakes, okay? I know I screwed up, but I'm still their father. I still love them." His voice cracked. "Please don't take that away from me." Elena looked at him, really looked, saw the dark circles under his eyes, the weight loss, the desperation of a man who'd gambled everything and lost. Part of her, the part that had loved him once, wanted to soften, to forgive, to believe change was possible. But then she remembered Leo's tears, Sophie's voice saying, "I hate you, Daddy." The forged signatures, the drained accounts, the calculated plan to destroy her. "You took yourself away from them," Elena said quietly. "When you forgot Leo's birthday. When you chose your mistress over your family. When you tried to paint me as an unfit mother to steal custody. You made your choices, Derek. Now live with them." Elena. She got in her car and locked the doors. Derek stood there, hands pressed against her window mouth, moving, but she couldn't hear him over the blood rushing in her ears. She drove away, watching him shrink in her rearview mirror, and felt nothing but relief. But that night, she couldn't sleep. Every sound made her jump. Every car passing outside sent her heart racing. Derek knew where she lived, knew the kids' schedules, knew she was vulnerable. At 2 a.m., she gave up and went downstairs. Marcus was awake on the couch reading a book. "Can't sleep?" he asked. "Derek approached me today, in the grocery store parking lot." Marcus sat up straight. "Did he touch you? Threaten you?" "No. He just begged. Asked for 5 minutes to explain." Elena sank into the armchair. Part of me felt bad for him. "That's because you're a good person. But Elena, feeling bad doesn't mean you have to forgive him. Doesn't mean you have to give him access to hurt you again." "I know. But what if I'm keeping the kids from their father unnecessarily? What if I'm the one being vindictive?" "You're not." Marcus's voice was firm. "You're protecting your children from a man who proved he's dangerous. That's not vindictive. That's survival." Elena pulled her knees to her chest. "I'm so tired, Marcus. Tired of being scared. Tired of fighting. Tired of being strong." "Then don't be strong tonight. Fall apart. I've got you." And Elena did. She cried until her ribs ached, until her throat was raw, until there were no more tears left. Marcus held her through it all, not trying to fix it, not telling her it would be okay, just being solid and present and steady. When she finally pulled away, embarrassed, he handed her a tissue. "Better, a little." She wiped her eyes. "Thank you. For everything. I don't know how I would have survived this without you." "You would have survived. You're stronger than you think." Marcus hesitated. "But I'm glad I could be here." Something in his tone made Elena look up. Their eyes met and held. The air between them shifted, charged with possibility and fear, and something else Elena wasn't ready to name. "Marcus," she started. His phone rang, shattering the moment. He grabbed it, frowning. "It's Detective Walsh. At 2 in the morning," he answered. "Hello." Elena watched his expression change from confused to alarmed to horrified. "When is he okay?" "Okay, we'll be there." He hung up, his face pale. "What happened?" "Derek was just arrested. He tried to break into Vanessa Torres's apartment." Marcus grabbed his keys. "She's at the hospital. He attacked her." Elena's hands went numb on the car ride to the hospital. Marcus drove in silence, his jaw tight, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. The city blurred past in streaks of neon and shadow. "He could have killed her," Elena whispered. "If he'd gotten inside?" "He didn't. She fought back, called 911. He's in custody now." "But he tried. He actually tried." Elena's voice rose. What if he'd come to our house instead? What if he'd gotten to the kids? Marcus reached over, squeezing her hand. He didn't, and he won't, not anymore. They found Vanessa in the ER, her left eye swollen shut, her lip, split bruises blooming purple across her throat, where Derek's hands had tried to choke the life from her. She looked up when Elena approached and something crumbled in her battered face. I'm sorry, Vanessa whispered through split lips. I'm so sorry. This is my fault. If I hadn't testified... Stop. Elena sat beside her, taking her uninjured hand. This is Derek's fault, only Derek's. He said I betrayed him, that I destroyed his life, that if he couldn't have his family, I didn't deserve to live. Vanessa's voice broke. He had his hands around my neck, Elena. I couldn't breathe. I thought he was going to... But he didn't. You're alive. You're safe now. Detective Walsh appeared in the doorway, her expression grim. Mrs. Morrison, I need to talk to you, now. Elena followed Walsh into the hallway, dread pooling in her stomach. Derek's claiming temporary insanity, Walsh said without preamble. Says the stress of losing his family pushed him over the edge. His lawyer's already talking about psychiatric evaluation, reduced charges. He tried to murder someone. I know. And we're charging him with attempted murder, assault, breaking and entering, violation of restraining order. Walsh paused. But Elena, his lawyer's good. Really good. There's a chance Derek walks with probation and mandatory therapy. The hallway tilted. That's it. He attacks his ex-mistress and gets therapy. The system's broken. You know that. Walsh's voice softened. But here's what we can do. We document everything. Every threat. Every violation. Every time he comes near you or the kids. We build a pattern. And if he violates probation, even once, he goes to prison for years. So I'm supposed to wait for him to attack me, to hurt my children. No, you're supposed to be vigilant, smart, safe. Walsh handed her a card. This is a women's shelter that specializes in protective orders and safety planning. They can help you install better security, get panic buttons, create escape routes. Elena stared at the card. This was her life now. Panic buttons and escape routes, living in fear of the man she'd once loved. There's something else, Walsh continued. Derek's parents are flying in from Arizona. They're talking about posting bail. If they do, he'll come after us. Elena's voice went flat. The first thing he'll do is come after us. Which is why you need to be prepared. I'm increasing patrols around your house. I'm notifying the kids' school. But Elena... Walsh gripped her shoulder. If Derek shows up, you don't try to reason with him. You run. You grab those kids and you run. Understand? Elena knotted her throat too tight for words. Back home, she checked every lock twice. Tested the security system 3 times. Stood in the doorway of each child's room, watching them sleep, memorizing the piece on their faces, before Derek shattered it again. Mama. Sophie's voice groggy with sleep. Why are you staring at me? Just making sure you're okay, baby. I'm okay. Are you okay? The question hurt. 9 years old, and Sophie was already taking care of her mother. Already worried about the adults who were supposed to protect her. I'm okay? Elena lied. Go back to sleep. But Sophie sat up, her eyes too, knowing in the dim light. Daddy hurt Miss Vanessa, didn't he? That's why you went to the hospital. There was no point lying. Sophie would find out anyway. Kids always did. Yes, he hurt her, but she's going to be okay. Is he going to hurt us too? Elena's breath caught. No, baby, I won't let that happen. You can't stop him. Sophie's voice carried a terrible wisdom. You didn't stop him from hurting Miss Vanessa. You didn't stop him from stealing our money. How are you going to stop him from hurting us? The words landed like knives. Because Sophie was right. Elena had been powerless to stop Derek's destruction. Had watched him dismantle their lives piece by piece while she scrambled to hold things together. I'm going to be smarter this time, Elena said quietly. I'm going to have help, Detective Walsh. Mr. Marcus. People who won't let him get near you. What if that's not enough? Elena pulled her daughter close, breathing in her shampoo, her warmth, her fear. Then I'll do whatever it takes, even if it means we have to leave. Start over somewhere new, whatever keeps you safe. You'd leave Brooklyn. I'd leave the country if I had to. Sophie was quiet for a long moment. Then, I'm scared, Mama. Me too, baby. Me too. The next morning, Elena called a locksmith. New locks on every door. New security cameras. Motion sensor lights flooding the yard. By the time the workers finished, her house looked like a fortress. This is $800 I don't have, Elena muttered, signing the invoice. But what choice do I have? Marcus appeared with coffee and the newspaper. You might want to sit down for this. The headline made Elena's blood freeze. Tech executive arrested in domestic violence attack. Below it, a photo of Derek in handcuffs, his face twisted with rage. The article detailed everything: the affair, the fraud, the attempted murder. And buried in the third paragraph, a quote from Derek's lawyer. My client is a victim of a vindictive ex-wife who has systematically destroyed his reputation and turned his children against him. This alleged attack was a cry for help from a man pushed to his breaking point. He's still blaming me, Elena whispered. He tried to kill someone, and he's still blaming me. Keep reading. Elena scanned down. Another quote, this time from Vanessa. Derek Morrison is a dangerous man who manipulated me, lied to me, and tried to murder me when I exposed his crimes. His ex-wife is a hero for escaping him. I only wish I'd listened to her sooner. Then, Jennifer's statement. Mr. Morrison's arrest proves what we've been saying all along. He's a violent criminal who poses a threat to anyone who crosses him. We're seeking an emergency order to terminate all parental rights pending the criminal trial. Terminate parental rights. Elena looked up. Can we do that? Jennifer thinks so. Between the fraud, the false CPS report, the restraining order violations, and now attempted murder. Marcus nodded. Judge Carter might agree he's permanently unfit. The kids will lose their father forever. The kids lost their father the day he forgot Leo's birthday to plan your destruction. This just makes it official. Elena knew he was right. But something still twisted in her gut. Not sympathy for Derek. Something else. Grief, maybe. For the family they'd never been. For the father Derek had chosen not to be. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Her heart jumped. Hello. Mrs. Morrison. This is Margaret Morrison, Derek's mother. Elena's blood went cold. She hadn't spoken to Derek's parents in years. They'd always blamed her for not being good enough for their son, for trapping him with children, for ruining his potential. What do you want? I want to talk about my son, about what you've done to him. What I've done? Elena's voice rose. Your son tried to murder someone last night. He forged my signature. He drained our accounts. He filed false abuse reports. What exactly have I done besides survive him? You turned his children against him. You destroyed his career. You... No. Elena's voice turned to steel. Derek destroyed himself. I just stopped covering for him. He's my son, my baby, and you've taken everything from him. He took everything from himself when he chose to be a criminal instead of a father. Elena took a shaking breath. Mrs. Morrison, I know you love your son, but love doesn't mean enabling his abuse. It doesn't mean making excuses for attempted murder. He's not a murderer. He's sick. He needs help. Then get him help, but keep him away from me and my children. Because if he comes near us, I'll do whatever it takes to protect them. Do you understand? Silence. Then cold and final. I'm posting his bail. He'll be home by tonight. The line went dead. Elena stood frozen, phone clutched in her numb hand. Derek was getting out. Today. In hours he'd be free. Marcus, she breathed. We have to leave. We have to get the kids and go. Where? I don't know. Anywhere. Somewhere he can't find us. Elena was already moving, grabbing suitcases from the closet, throwing clothes inside with shaking hands. Elena, stop. Think about this. I am thinking his mother's posting bail. He's getting out today. The first thing he'll do is come here. To finish what he started with Vanessa. To make me pay. So let him come. Let him violate his bail conditions. Let him prove to the judge exactly how dangerous he is. And risk my children's lives in the process. Elena spun on him. No, I won't gamble with their safety. Then what you run? You uproot them from school, from friends, from everything familiar. You let Derek win by making you live in fear. He's already won. The scream tore from Elena's throat. He's destroyed everything, our marriage, our money, our safety, our peace. What's left to protect except their lives? Marcus grabbed her shoulders. Your strength, your dignity, your refusal to let him break you. That's what's left. And if you run Elena, you're telling those kids that the world isn't safe, that they have to hide forever. Is that the lesson you want to teach them? Elena's knees buckled. Marcus caught her, holding her up as sobs racked her body. I'm so scared, she gasped. I'm so tired of being scared. I know, but you're not alone. I'm here. Detective Walsh is here. Jennifer's here. We're not letting him hurt you. You can't promise that. No. But I can promise I'll die trying to keep you safe. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning Elena wasn't ready to examine. Sophie appeared in the doorway, Leo behind her, both children wearing matching expressions of terror. Mama, what's wrong? Why are you packing? Elena wiped her eyes, trying to compose herself. Grandma Morrison is posting Daddy's bail. He's getting out of jail today. So we're running away. Sophie's voice was small. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's safest. I don't want to run. Leo stepped forward, his Batman cape tied around his shoulders. Batman doesn't run. Batman fights bad guys. Baby, this isn't a comic book. Daddy's dangerous. I know. That's why we have to fight him, like you did in court. Like Miss Vanessa did when she told the truth. Leo's jaw set with heartbreaking determination. You taught us to stand up to bullies, Mama. Why are we running from Daddy if he's just a bully? Out of the mouths of babes, again. Elena looked at her 6-year-old son, his small fists clenched, his eyes blazing with a courage she'd somehow managed to instill despite everything. You're right, she whispered. You're absolutely right. She turned to Marcus. Call Detective Walsh. Tell her Derek's posting bail. Tell her we need protection. Now. You're staying. I'm staying. We're staying. Derek Morrison doesn't get to chase us from our home. Not anymore. Marcus made the call. Elena held her children close, feeling their fear and their trust, and their impossible, beautiful bravery. 2 hours later, Derek walked out of jail. Elena watched the news coverage on her phone. Watched him ignore reporters' questions, watched him climb into his mother's rental car and drive away. Her phone buzzed. Derek. Derek. I'm coming to see my kids. You can't stop me. Elena. Try it and you'll be back in jail in an hour. Derek. They're my children. I have rights. Elena. You gave up your rights when you tried to kill Vanessa. Stay away from us. Derek, you've poisoned them against me, turned them into weapons. I'm going to fix that. The threat was clear. Derek wasn't done, wasn't defeated, was planning something. He's coming, Elena told Marcus. I can feel it. Let him come. We're ready. But they weren't. Nobody could be ready for what happened next. At 3:17 p.m., Sophie's school called. The principal's voice was tight with panic. Mrs. Morrison, a man claiming to be Sophie's father, attempted to check her out of school. We refused because of the custody order, but he's still in the parking lot. He's refusing to leave. Elena's heart stopped. I'm on my way. Lock down the building. Call the police. She was in the car before she finished speaking, Marcus beside her. Both of them breaking every traffic law to reach Riverside Elementary before Derek could what? Kidnap Sophie, hurt her, use her as leverage. They screeched into the parking lot to find 2 police cruisers already there. Derek in handcuffs screaming at officers while his mother stood nearby crying. "She's my daughter. I have a right to see my daughter." "You have supervised visitation, only Mr. Morrison. You know that." Detective Walsh approached Elena's car. He showed up with flowers and birthday presents. Tried to sweet-talk the secretary into releasing Sophie. When that didn't work, he tried to force his way into the building. "Where's Sophie?" "Inside. Safe." "But Elena, he's going back to jail. Bail revoked. He violated conditions by coming here." Elena watched them load Derek into the cruiser, watched him fight against the cuffs, watched his mother collapse against her car, in tears. "Mrs. Morrison." Derek's voice carried across the parking lot. "Elena, please, I just wanted to see my kids. Is that so wrong?" Elena walked toward him, her legs steady, her voice calm. "Yes, Derek, it is wrong. Because the judge said supervised visitation only. Because you've proven you're dangerous. Because you don't get to terrorize us and then demand access to the children you traumatized. They're my kids. They were your kids. Before you forgot Leo's birthday. Before you stole our money. Before you tried to murder Vanessa. You gave them up, Derek. You chose everything else over them. And now you don't get them back. You can't do this. You can't take my children away." "I didn't take them." Elena's voice carried across the parking lot past the cameras that had appeared past the parents watching from their cars. "You threw them away. I'm just protecting what you discarded." The officer shut the cruiser door, cutting off Derek's protests. They drove away, taking him back to jail, back to the consequences he'd spent months trying to avoid. Margaret Morrison approached, her face ravaged. "You've destroyed him. Are you happy now?" "I'm not happy. I'm surviving. There's a difference." Elena's voice softened, despite everything. "Mrs. Morrison, your son needs help. Real help. Not bail money, not lawyers making excuses. Psychiatric help. Addiction counseling. Whatever it takes. But he can't get that help while you're enabling his destruction." "I'm his mother. I love him." "I was his wife. I loved him too. But love isn't enough when someone's determined to destroy themselves and everyone around them." Elena turned to go, then stopped. When Derek's ready to actually get help, to actually change, to actually take responsibility for what he's done, then maybe someday we can talk about supervised contact with the kids. But until then, they're better off without him. She walked away, leaving Margaret crying in the parking lot. Inside the school, Sophie ran into Elena's arms, shaking and tearful, but unhurt. "He brought me birthday presents, Mama, even though my birthday's not for 3 months. He didn't even remember when my birthday is." The detail broke Elena's heart. Derek had shown up with flowers and gifts trying to buy his daughter's love, and didn't even know her birthday. Hadn't known it for years, probably. "You're safe now," Elena whispered. "He's going back to jail. For a long time." "Good." Sophie's voice was fierce. "I don't want to see him. Not ever." That night, Elena sat with both children explaining what would happen next. The trial. The potential prison sentence. The termination of parental rights hearing. "What does that mean?" Leo asked. "Termination. It means Daddy won't legally be your father anymore. He won't have any rights to see you or make decisions about you. Will he still be our daddy in our hearts?" The question destroyed her. "That's up to you, baby. You get to decide how you feel about him. Nobody can tell you what to feel." Leo thought about this, his small face serious. "I think he stopped being my daddy when he forgot my birthday. But I'm still sad. Is that okay?" "It's more than okay. It's perfect." Elena pulled him close. "You can be sad and relieved and angry and scared all at the same time. Feelings are complicated. I'm not sad, Sophie said quietly. I'm just tired. Tired of being scared all the time. Tired of wondering when Daddy's going to hurt us. I want it to be over. It will be. Soon. But soon turned out to be 6 months. 6 months of court hearings and psychiatric evaluations and Derek's lawyers arguing for leniency. 6 months of supervised visits where Derek cried and apologized and begged the kids to forgive him while they sat in silence unmoved by his performance. 6 months of Elena rebuilding her life, one painful brick at a time. She got a full-time teaching position at Riverside Elementary, working alongside Marcus. She started therapy processing 15 years of manipulation and abuse. She learned to sleep without panic attacks. Learned to answer the door without fear. Learned to trust that the nightmare was really finally over. Derek was sentenced to 4 years for attempted murder fraud and violating restraining orders. The judge terminated his parental rights permanently. He would serve his time and emerge with no legal connection to Sophie and Leo Morrison. On the day of the final hearing, Elena sat in the courtroom gallery and felt nothing. No triumph, no vindication, just exhausted relief. How do you feel? Marcus asked as they left the courthouse. Free, Elena said simply. For the first time in 15 years, I'm free. That night she took Sophie and Leo to Lorene, the restaurant where it had all ended and begun. She ordered chocolate cake with extra candles, one for each month of hell they'd survived. Make a wish, she told Leo. He closed his eyes, thought hard, then blew out every candle in one breath. What did you wish for? Sophie asked. That we could be happy, like really happy. Not scared happy, just happy. Elena's eyes burned. I think we can do that, baby. I think we finally can. Across the table, Marcus smiled at her, and Elena felt something unfurl in her chest. Not love, not yet, but possibility. Hope, the promise of a future where happiness wasn't just survival, where peace wasn't just the absence of danger, where family was something you chose instead of something that trapped you. To new beginnings, Marcus said, raising his water glass. To new beginnings. Elena echoed, clinking glasses with her children, with this man who'd stood beside her through the worst, with the life she'd fought so hard to protect. Derek Morrison had tried to erase her, had spent months systematically destroying everything she was, everything she had, everything she loved. He'd forgotten their son's birthday, walked into a restaurant with his mistress, and set in motion his own spectacular downfall. But Elena Morrison hadn't been erased. She'd survived, had fought back, had protected her children, and rebuilt her life from ashes and rage and a mother's desperate love. And now, sitting in the restaurant where her old life had shattered, surrounded by her children's laughter and the warm presence of a man who'd shown her what kindness looked like, Elena Morrison was finally, impossibly, beautifully free. The nightmare was over, and the dream, the real one, the one worth fighting for, was just beginning.